Good morning, friends. Welcome to this edition of Checking In with Pastor Jim. Yes, I got a haircut yesterday in a small salon in the neighborhood. There were only 3 other people present. Everybody was wearing masks. I feel like it was safe, but someone did approach me with sharp scissors, and the results you can see for yourself. That's not what I'm here to talk about. Today is June the 20th, 2020, and it is an important day in history. You may not know this, but today is West Virginia Statehood Day. For some reason, I remember that. June the 20th, 1863 was when West Virginia became a state. And I moved to West Virginia from Virginia when I was about 6 years old, and I didn't like it very much. You may remember that story where some of the kids at my new school were saying that West Virginia is the best Virginia, and I was saying, no, it's not. I identified as a Virginian. But I still remember that June the 20th, 1863 was the day West Virginia became a state in its own right. And it is a funny shaped state, isn't it? It's got that round bottom and then that pointy top and then that kind of chicken wing sticking out at one side. That's what happens when you try to pull away from the great state of Virginia. Anyway, I came to love West Virginia. Can I just say that? I came to love it, mostly because I fell in love with a girl there who made me think West Virginia was the best state in the nation. And I still know how to sing that song. Oh, those West Virginia hills, how majestic and how grand, with their summits bathed in glory like the Prince Emmanuel's land. Is it any wonder then that my heart with rapture thrills when I stand once more with loved ones on those West Virginia hills? Sing it with me. Oh, those hills, beautiful hills, how I love those West Virginia hills. If o'er land or sea I roam, still I think of happy home and my friends among those West Virginia hills. Lovely, isn't it? Lovely song about West Virginia. Well, today is also the summer solstice. Today will be the first day of summer, the longest day of the year. It's June 20th this year. It's not always the 20th, but this year it is. And summer starts at 5:44 p.m. Right, this afternoon, evening, 5:44 p.m. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to mix up a glass of lemonade and drink a toast to summer at 5:44 p.m. precisely. Now, you may be saying, I can't make a glass of lemonade. I'm at home. I can't go to the store today. There's no way. Yes, you probably can. Look in your refrigerator and see if somewhere in there is a bottle of lemon juice or one of those little squirty yellow lemons, right? This is the way I used to make lemonade when I was a kid. Put some water in a glass, pour in or squirt in some lemon juice, to taste, and then add some sugar. And when I was a kid, the more sugar, the better. Add some ice to that, stir it around. You've got lemonade. And at 5:44 p.m. today, I want you to drink a toast to summer, right? Raise your glass. Say, to summer, and then have some refreshing lemonade. Hope you'll do that. Today also, in other news, I got an email message from my daughter who said she had heard something from a friend who had heard something from another friend that there might be some kind of protest on Monument Avenue today, probably down near the statue of Robert E. Lee, and that this protest was going to be people who wanted very much to defend the monuments and who were encouraging others to bring their guns. That part was in quotation marks. Bring your guns. I don't know if that's true. I certainly don't want you to worry about that. I remember the last time Richmond geared up for a big counter protest, we ended up with about 7 people from Tennessee who showed up to wave Confederate flags. It was not the kind of demonstration they had had in Charlottesville the month before. But I'm just telling you that that's the the chatter on the internet this morning is that there might be something on Monument Avenue, and some people might be defending monuments, and some have been encouraged to, quote, bring their guns. I'm not going to worry about that. I hope you won't worry about that, but it is another good reason to say prayers. Last time we heard about some big demonstration on Monument Avenue, we said prayers, so let's make sure to do that today. I want you to know that tomorrow I am preaching on the second commandment, which is about not making idols. And some people would say it's a little too easy to talk about that subject when these statues on Monument Avenue have been the cause of so much controversy lately. I want you to know I did not go there. That seemed like low-hanging fruit to talk about idol worship and to look at statues and say, see what happens? I did not go there. I was much more interested in why people would worship idols than what idols they would worship. However, I will say, when I was looking for illustrations, I found this one of the golden calf. Do you remember seeing that illustration somewhere? The golden calf that was worshipped by God's people out in the wilderness. I was just struck by the similarities between that calf standing up there on top of that pedestal and the people gathered around it. It looked a little too much like this other picture that I had seen when the Robert E. Lee statue was dedicated back in 1890. Looked just a little too much the same. But as I say, I didn't go there. I don't mention statues at any point in my sermon on Sunday. I'm talking about why we worship rather than what we worship. But my friend Amy Redwine, who's pastor at First Presbyterian Church, was in the newspaper today, she and Alec Evans, saying that their churches were complicit in putting up statues in the first place, and particularly that one of Robert E. Lee. She shared with me some of her church history. I just wanted to read this little section for you. She said, in 1870, a very emotional non-church event took place in the First Presbyterian Church. On November 3rd, the first meeting of the Lee Memorial Association was held in Richmond. The meeting was held in the sanctuary of First Presbyterian Church, located on Capitol Square, a most convenient and prominent location for those attending. Interestingly, stated policies of the church at the time, as they do today, prohibited use of the sanctuary for other than religious services. However, the session that met on October the 28th decided to grant permission for the church to be used as a gathering place for the first meeting of the Lee Memorial Association. And here's the description of that meeting. The November 3rd evening meeting was attended by a large number of Confederate veterans, many wearing Confederate gray. Richmond newspapers called it the grandest gathering of Confederate soldiers which had met since the war. Over 30 former generals were present, including Early, Gordon, Pickett, Kemper, and Fitzhugh Lee. The evening was particularly memorable because Jefferson Davis, recently returned from England, was in Richmond and had agreed to attend and to address the meeting. As Davis entered the church, it is said, every person in the house rose to his feet, and there followed such a storm of applause as seemed to shake the very foundations of the building. Notwithstanding the location of the meeting, in a church sanctuary, cheer upon cheer echoed from the soldiers and others in attendance. I just want to say this. Here was a house of worship that was consecrated for that purpose, and there were rules that you couldn't have gatherings there unless it was for the purpose of religious worship. And yet at this meeting, there was something like worship being offered up, but it was not being offered to God. I think that's the danger. And maybe that's why God commands early on, don't worship idols. Don't put anything else in the place of me. I'm not saying that what happened in that sanctuary that night was a religious worship experience, But it does make you think, doesn't it? Makes you want to be careful about what you give your ultimate allegiance and ultimate loyalty to. There are some who would have said that, if we had never put up the statue of Robert E. Lee in the first place, we wouldn't have to worry about taking it down. And so it's a good time for some soul searching and to ask ourselves the question, what do we worship? A better question, who do we worship? Who gets our ultimate loyalty, our ultimate allegiance? The Bible would say that kind of loyalty and allegiance belongs to no one else but God. Only God. So don't make any idols today, friends. Don't do that. Do make a glass of lemonade and celebrate the summer solstice, and do sing a little bit of the West Virginia song, just so you can say you did. Tomorrow is Sunday. I want to invite you to join us for worship at 8:30 or 11 o'clock on the church's Facebook page or on the webcast from www.fbcrichmond.org. Some of you may choose to watch last week's service on television at 11 o'clock on Channel 8. That's fine. Do what you want. But I also would invite you to join me for Coffee and Donuts with Pastor Jim at 8 o'clock. It's an informal get-together before the 8:30 worship service where you get to talk and not just me. So if you're looking for that, I told someone yesterday, find the picture of the donuts on this Facebook group page. Find the picture of the donuts and look for the blue link in the text. Click on the link, and if you have Zoom on your computer, it should take you straight to Coffee and Donuts with Pastor Jim. You'll have to bring your own donuts. Sorry about that. And you'll have to bring your own coffee. But I hope we'll have a good time tomorrow checking in before the 8:30 worship service. Friends, today is June 20th, 2020. It is a day to celebrate. I hope you will, and I will see you tomorrow.